You're listening to Bad Dog Agility, bringing you training tips, interviews, and news about the great sport of dog agility. And now, here are your hosts, Sarah and Esteban.
I'm Esteban.
And I'm Sarah, and this is episode 146.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Back on Track. Dog agility is a demanding sport and can be difficult on the body, both the dogs and the humans. Back on Track specializes in dog blankets, beds, and wraps that keep muscles warm and reduce the pain in joints. If you've got a nagging knee, calf, or ankle injury, Back on Track's human products can help get you back in the ring. Visit Back on Track at backontrackproducts.com.
Today's podcast is also brought to you by Elite Science. Unlock your athlete's full potential with a unique competitive edge solution, 1TDC. 1-tetradecanol complex is a patented blend of unique fatty acid oils designed to safely and effectively keep joints and muscles at their best to maximize performance and shorten recovery time. 1TDC is the next generation of fatty acids, beyond glucosamine and fish oil, and is used by many current and past national agility champions and world team members. Bad Dog Agility listeners will automatically qualify for a great 1TDC special offer by purchasing online at bda1tdc.com. Today, we're going to be talking about a record-keeping solution you're probably already using.
Do you mean for trial results or training sessions, or what are we talking about here?
I mean everything. So the most important part of record keeping, anybody will tell you, is actually doing it. It's the hardest part of record keeping. It's not a matter of what program you use or how you organize your information. It's whether or not you actually keep track of things. And that's why I like today's little trick, because we're going to tell you that you can use Facebook as your record keeping.
Of course, this assumes that you actually use Facebook. I'm sure there's listeners out there who don't actually use Facebook, but in the dog agility community, Facebook is a very, very popular platform. Most people have it. A lot of people have it. And it's got some very cool features that lend itself to this kind of record keeping. So before you stop playing this podcast because you think it sounds crazy, let Sarah share some of her ideas with you.
Well, this is something that we've actually been doing for our dogs. And as I was uploading a video just this morning of my dog working on weave pulls, I thought, this is something we could share with everybody. So Facebook, if you use it, you live in it. A lot of people live in Facebook. They have it on their phones. They have it on their iPad. They have it on their computer, and they're very familiar with how it works. People are very used to uploading video to Facebook to share with the world. And what we do for record keeping in Facebook is we just take that a little step forward and we say, we're going to upload things that aren't for sharing. We're not doing this to share it with other people. We're doing it for ourselves. And the way that we do that is we create private groups. And a lot of people are familiar with groups on Facebook, but usually groups are, the word group implies a large number of people. But it turns out you can create a group with only one member, you.
And I'm just finding out today that Sarah actually has a group where she is the only person in that group. And
it's not sad.
And she's named the group. What have you named the group?
My secret group of just me is called Just Me.
That's very clever.
I know, right? Let me take a step backwards and say that several years ago, when we got our young dogs, our new young dogs at the time, Esteban actually came up with the idea of creating Facebook groups for each of the dogs. And so he would put the two of us in it so that we could both see what we were doing with the dogs. And each dog had their own group. And so we've been kind of using this for several years with our dogs, not comprehensively, but it's probably the most complete record keeping that we've ever done. And just by uploading videos and putting some text around what we were working on, what was working, what didn't work, what our plans are for the next session. And now we can go back through each dog's group and we can see how far we've come. We can see what we've been working on. We can see how old was my dog when I was working that entry as we, look at new dogs or friends' dogs or students' dogs or things like that. So it actually has been very helpful.
Yeah, I totally agree. We had one for Gitchy, right, when I was working with her, and she's the dog that we co-own with Susan Frazier, who lives in Louisiana. So it was a very powerful tool for us because any training session I did, I can immediately go upload it there and then get Susan's feedback. Okay, we do a running contact session. She started missing. This is the problem that we're having. What do you think? And it's easier than sending it through an instant message, a text message, or anything like that, because now you have a running record. You can have a comments thread and it's sorted by topic. And so that would just be one topic. That would be today's contact session. Then you might have a weave session in 2 or 3 days. And then Gitchy might have something else, an upset stomach. What kind of dog food are you feeding her? These are all things you go back to Gitchy's personal Facebook page, which just has 3 people, me, Sarah, and Gitchy's owner. So this kind of a group can be really, really useful, especially for your training as far as record keeping. It's very easy to go back and see what you've been working on just a week ago, a month ago. It's much harder to do that if you've been writing it down in a journal, and you can't upload your training videos to a paper journal. And there aren't really very many good online ways to record training sessions as well as trial results. So something else I would do for Susan is every single run that Gitchy ran, I would upload usually within a few minutes of running it, right? And definitely on the same day, within the hour, so she could see Gitchy's runs for that day, right? And
then in the comments thread, you would take a picture of the course map.
And then on your next comment would be a picture of the results.
That's right. So it's all there together.
So now you have it for your record. So now when you're filling out your entry for nationals, you can go to your Facebook group page, scroll back, and see all of your runs. You have your Qs, your NQs, and I know trial secretaries are emailing you those results now. Attachment, take pictures of it, however that you want to do it. But you can get it right there live at the trial. Just go and take a picture of the results, take a picture of the course map. Everything is right there for you. So Susan, even though she's in Louisiana and we're in Texas, she gets to look at the course map, right? She gets to see the run. She gets to see the results. It's got the yards, the time, everything is there, right? And so a single Facebook group dedicated to Gitchy's got all her training stuff in there, any other issues that might arise, and all your competition records.
These Facebook groups do have some amount of search. It's not the absolute best, but it'll get by if you remember, maybe the
right, if you want to type in, say, keyword like Westminster or,
right.
Yeah, stuff like that. Invitational, running contact or something that, sparks some kind of memory. And that's why when you're putting in those runs, I like to put a little information in there, right?
Not just the video, but the description of the video that you can find later.
Like where the trial was. Although we, almost all our trials now are at a single venue. So the name of that place isn't going to be very useful. You want to put stuff like, perfect weekend or terrible weekend or missed turn off dog walk or, excellent threadle in premier jumpers. You want to list kind of the standard versus jumpers and just novice standard missed A-frame. So let's say you've got a missed A-frame problem and you want to scroll through and find all your videos where your dog has missed the A-frame and you've noted it on 3 of their last 15 novice runs. Okay. You're having a hard time getting out of novice because of this A-frame issue. And that's an easy way to scroll through it because you have it written right there in the description, right? The title or the comment that you're going to leave with that video. So this can be a very, very cool thing to do for as far as record keeping for your dog.
And I think the people that use Facebook a lot may immediately see the power of this idea because part of the reason that it is so useful is that it is so easy and always accessible to somebody who is already on Facebook doing a lot of Facebook type things. So it doesn't matter if you tape your run on your phone or on your iPad or on somebody else's phone, you can easily get that information into your record keeping system.
All right. Now that we've convinced you it's a really cool idea and some of you want to go and do this, how do you do it? You go to Facebook, you click on the home button, not your name button. And there's going to be a section over on the left side. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the left side. You're going to see your favorites. You're going to see all the pages that you've liked. You're also going to see groups that you're a member of. And under there's going to be a little thing that says create group. And it's going to prompt you for a name. So you got to think of something clever. For us, we named all our dogs after streets. Right. So I think we did like Gitchy Boulevard.
Venture Highway.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you want to think of adorable little names. You can tailor it, right? So you can put a nice picture of your dog at the top.
If it makes you feel good whenever you go there.
That's right. And so this is going to be for your own record keeping. You really don't need anyone else involved. But some good examples, I think, to consider are like me and Sarah. We're both dog agility people, and we share things about our dogs with each other. And so,
like a house.
Yeah. So, we're both in all the groups. And I've given you an example for Gitchy, where we included Susan as well. So there were 3 of us in that group. You don't want to throw anyone in there that you don't ask permission first. So I know that a lot of you out there, your mind is already turning and thinking and coming up with ideas of how to use this. And, a very obvious one is to bring in your instructor. But, your instructor's got a lot of stuff to do as well, whether or not they're online, whether they're on Facebook. If you have that kind of relationship where, you're doing private lessons, you do group lessons, you do have a lot of discussion, and you guys are doing all your discussion through text messages, that can be very awkward and clumsy and difficult to use, then it makes a lot of sense to go to your instructor and say, hey, let's start up a Facebook group. I hear it's pretty good. Let's give it a shot. And it'll help with our record keeping and our communication.
Right, but you just can't assume that your brick and mortar once a week lesson instructor that covers the time that they would take to be looking over your group, outside of that classroom time.
Well, definitely. This is an issue of courtesy. Right. And I feel that it's one worth making.
Right.
Right. So don't just invite people to your group and put them in awkward positions of like, do I need to be in this group? And then they join. And then it turns out it's just you and them. And then they're like, oh my God, I was just ambushed or something, Very powerful record keeping tool. If you want to add anyone to the group, make sure you discuss it with them so they know exactly what the group is about, how they're going to be contributing, how often they need to be following up with it, all that kind of stuff. You want to work all that out in advance, certainly. One more important thing to consider before we end this podcast is the privacy setting of the group, right? It can be a closed group. It can be an open group. We recommend that you make it a secret group, right? If it's a closed group, people can see that it exists. And so if you have some kind of arrangement with an instructor or with your friend or even your spouse, it might be awkward for people. They'll be like, why am I not a member of that group? I thought we were best friends. It's really not about that. It's about record keeping for your dog. So we think that secret group, that, creates the least amount of problems.
Yep, that's perfect. And that's it for this week's podcast. Today's podcast was brought to you by Back on Track and Elite Science, and also NTI Global. Visit NTI Global for the widest selection of dog agility tunnels for both competition and backyard training. Known for free shipping, more options, high-quality products, and low prices, NTI Global has got you covered. They also offer anchor weight bags, tunnel tamers, along with a full line of accessories and agility storage solutions. Need your agility gear in a hurry? Don't forget to check the in-stock selection. Use promo code NTI Agility 5 for 5% off. Happy training!
Neon walks into a party. There is no reaction.